these are credit cards, and I have quite a lot of them. Now you might be thinking that's a little bit crazy. Well, it is for a lot of people, but you know what? If you understand your business and you understand your cash flow, then you know that the interest you pay on one of these is actually less than the money you're making that you've invested in stock. So, number one, I'm going to be talking about cash flow. And number two, I'm going to be talking about scaling your business with credit cards. And finally, number three, I'm going to live screen share how I do cash flow in my business, and hopefully it's going to help you. So, stay tuned. Right, if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson and I am an Amazon arbitrage seller. I pretty much sell in the UK, and right now I'm on a mission to do £1 million in 2021. So have a look up there, I will drop a link, you can watch that video and break it down step by step. Also as well, I run FastTrackFBA, the name of this YouTube channel, which is about supporting Amazon arbitrage sellers. We offer leads, VAs, lots and lots of different services to help arbitrage sellers in their Amazon businesses. Part of my £1 million goal, or that video that I did, was to break down my business into certain sections and to look at each individual section and to try and get it better, to try and make it more efficient. One of those sections that we identified was cash flow management. Taking the money that you've got in your bank account and getting it into stock at all times and having the most amount of stock available to sell while still covering your bills is super key. If you can do it right, it will scale your business so much quicker. Do it wrong, and it could potentially cause your business to fail and you lose everything. So, super important, but today I want to go through that cash flow management and I'm going to show you obviously how I do it as well. Now, if I put it super simple, think of cash as like oil in your car. It's, you need a certain amount of oil to make your car work. But if you've got too much, like literally too much, you don't need that much. You just need the right amount to make it work. But too little, then your car comes to a grinding halt. And the same thing with cash in a business. Not enough cash, your business stops. But too much, well, you don't need it, and that extra cash isn't really doing anything. Now today, what I want to do is just go through what is cash flow and really understand what that looks like in the Amazon arbitrage and even wholesale business models, if you're wondering about that. Why is cash flow important in the Amazon arbitrage business model or wholesale model? Well, quite simply, when you put your money in, should we say, a bank account, they might give you 1% interest per year. Now, if you're investing the same amount of money into Amazon, should we say, in stock, you might be getting 30% on that investment. Now that investment might take 3 months for you to buy, sell it and get the money back. Now you can do that if it's going to take 3 months, 4 times. 4 times 30% is about 120%. Now we're not including compounding in there, but quite simply, I know 120 is bigger than 1. So it stands to reason that I want to have all my money invested in stock to sell wherever possible, because it's going to give me a better return on my money. So what I want to go through now is really simple, just the flow of money within an Amazon business for, should we say, doing wholesale or arbitrage, just to kind of explain it so you can see. Now I'm just going to say, I hate doing PowerPoint presentations. I think they're like the death of me. I think this is probably a good reason why I should do one, or a good video to do one on, because it's really good to explain it with visual images. So jump on the PC now and have a look at a simple cash flow diagram for an Amazon business. It helps if I actually know where I keep my files. I'm struggling to find it. Found it. This is a really simplified model of getting money, or the money in Amazon. So at any one point, you're going to have money in, should we say, the bank, or you've got money in your bank. Then what do? You then go to a store or even a supplier, wholesaler, and you buy stock. And what you do, that money then converts into stock. And then finally you ship that stock into Amazon, and it sits in Amazon's warehouses. And then once it sells, what does it do? Well, it sits in what's known as a disbursement fund within Amazon, and then after a couple of weeks, it will ship back into the bank. So quite simply, plus obviously any profit. So quite simply, you are just doing that loop going round and round and round. Now, you probably heard me say something called a disbursement fund. So this is something really important to understand. Now, interesting enough, the Amazon disbursement fund is basically what Amazon has been doing for, if your account is, should we say, up to 4 years old. If it's older than 4 years, you're pretty much fine. Generally, about 4 years ago, they said any new accounts from now onwards, you have to hold your funds, or they'll hold your funds for 2 weeks. Why? To protect the customer, etc., etc. Basically, Amazon are keeping the money and they can earn interest of it. But it means you've got a 2-week delay in that money coming from sales back into your bank account. And that slows that process down. And that's something really important to understand, because hey, it's your money, but you can't access it straight away, and that is money Amazon is just holding. So again, it's exactly the same process, but you've got a 2-week delay in there for the disbursement fund. So something really important to understand about the cash flow cycle and how the money moves around. And obviously your goal here, if you think about it, is that when you've got money in the bank account, you're probably earning a tiny, 1% interest per year. You're not making any money when your money's in stock with the supplier, but it is making you money when it's, or potentially making you money when it's on sale on Amazon. And having as much or the most amount of money that you can on sale or in stock on sale on Amazon is going to be a big difference, because the more products you've got to sell, the more opportunity you've got to make money. Stay to the end of the video, quite simply, because I'm going to do a live screen share and I'm going to show you the sheet that I actually use to manage my cash flow and to make sure that I have as much stock available or cash to invest in stock in Amazon at all times. Now, you probably know I've got quite a few credit cards, and in my business I use multiple variations of that. Credit cards, charge cards, debit cards, slightly different. But the idea is I have those available to me and they are part of my business, how I use it. Now, I don't just use them solely for the credit facility. There are other benefits such as cashback or even the protection, but the credit facility, i.e. the extra cash, that is super important. Now, I want to explain why this is really important for you, because once you understand the Amazon cycle and you understand your business and how you're making profits, and obviously making sure that you're making profits first, then you can see how much of an impact it has. So let's go through the exact same cash flow cycle, but this time looking at using cash only as a typical Amazon seller might do. So let's come through. So we're talking about cash only. Now, what I'm going to say here is just in the top right, I've put the information in. I said you're going to start with, say, £1,000, or it could be $1,000, doesn't really matter. Now, we're going to work on the assumption they can get a 30% ROI after all fees, and that they can pretty much turn their stock in a month. That means they can buy the stock, get it into Amazon, sell it, and get their money back within 1 month's time. Now, I'd probably say you could look at maybe 2, maybe 3 months as realistic, but just for this exercise, it's going to be 1 month. But this whole, I've done 5 months here, you could just imagine is a year, and actually that's probably going to be about a fair assessment of where it might be. We've got someone here starting with £1,000 and doing a 30% ROI. After 1 month, they're going to have 1,300. After 2 months, they're going to have 1,690, and so on and so on. Now, at the end of month 5, they're going to have £3,712. If they cashed everything out, got rid of all their stock, sold it through, and put it back into the bank. So you think they started with 1,000, and at the end they're going to have 3,712. Quite simply, they have made 2,700 and should be £12 profit. Once you start to understand that you're making money and how you are making money, that is super powerful. Why? Because you understand the formula. And I'll point out, you need to make sure you're making money, which is a lot of people don't because they don't understand, but make sure you're making money. And once you understand the formula, you understand the system, and it just works, then you can say, well, if I had more money to invest, what then? Well, that is where one of these comes in quite handy. Most people nowadays can get, should we say, a couple of £1,000 at least from a credit card provider. And if you're going to have it for 5 months, even a year, that is obviously going to have a cost impact on it, but it's going to give you more money to invest. So let's do the same analysis, but now with money from a credit card. So quite simply, cash and credit. Now, I've said instead of 1,000, we've got 1,000, and maybe we've got £4,000 credit. So we've made it up to 5,000 now. And the other thing is I've reduced the ROI down. Why? Well, I'm saying there's costs of running your credit card. And you know what? It isn't 5% on the ROI, but it's just an easy way to account for it, to say we're not going to achieve so much success. And interesting enough, as you grow as well, your ROI might reduce as well. You generally see that. So again, starting at 5,000, after month 1, they're going to be getting 6,250. After month 2, they're going to be getting 7,800, so on and so on, until month 5, they're on £15,258. How much profit after you pay off the credit card and take out your original £1,000? Well, that's £10,258. That is massive. You can see here that just by using the cash, the £1,000, you're making 2,700 roughly. But by using a credit card, by using the additional capital you have available that in a business which is making profit, and I stress that profit, you can actually grow a lot quicker and you can make a lot more money. And it's that important thing, which is why having credit cards can be really powerful when used in the right way in a profitable business. Do you use credit cards in your business? If you do, drop it down below. Maybe let me know the provider you're using, because hey, while I've got a lot, it doesn't mean I know them all, and hey, there's a lot that I can learn from as well. The next thing I want to go through is the cash flow in my business. Now I'm going to do a live screen share of the exact spreadsheet I use, and I'm going to walk you through step by step how I actually do that. Now, the one thing which I'm going to say is I'm going to drop a link down below to the sheet that I use. Now, this has taken me 4 years to develop. We've done so much testing on it and so much trial and error. And you know what? I am selling it. This is something that if you want to download, you can, but it does have a cost associated with it. Now, the one thing you might be thinking is, hey, I'm going to create a copy of it. I'm just going to see what it does on the screen. And you know what? You're more than welcome to. I can't stop you. But I'll give you 3 things to consider before you think about doing that. Number 1, just have a think about how long it's going to take you to copy the sheet, get the formulas right, test it, make sure it's working. In that amount of time, most people can probably make more money than it would cost to buy it just through buying and selling stock on Amazon. This is what we do for a business. Work to your strengths. Number 2, this is your cash flow management. If you get just one formula wrong, this could potentially mean that your entire business doesn't have enough money to operate and it could fail. So is it really worth the risk? And then finally, number 3, what I'm just going to say is that these videos I do this quality, we edit them all for free to give away and add value to you. And you know what, when people buy the sheets that I create, I can reinvest that money in creating better content for you. So by buying it, it shows me that this is something that you really like, and you know what, I'll do more of it. I want to go through a couple of explanations using a bit more PowerPoint to explain it in a bit more detail before we jump on the sheet. Okay, so we've talked about the Amazon cash flow model. Now, quite simply, we have money in the bank, we buy stock, we ship it to Amazon, and then it comes back again. That's it, quite simply. But we've got money tied up in certain areas. So let's just kind of go through and look at that. So right now, here you can see I've got the bank itself, and with the bank, we have things like debit cards, credit cards, charge cards, and then supplier credit. And if you're wholesaling, suppliers give you credit, which is super important to factor in, because hey, that's a credit facility. Then you convert that money into stock, and then once you convert that money into stock, it then converts into money again through sales. So you've got 2 types of money in Amazon. One, which is money available right now, and then number 2, it's called your money held, it's in the disbursement account, it's that like protected fund they have. So it's really important to understand where the money is at all times when mapping out your cash flow. So once we understand where the money is in the cash flow, now we need to consider what we need to do with it in time, because obviously that's the thing we're considering. Do we have enough money to manage our finances over the period of time we're looking at? So if you think about the money itself, it basically goes from the bank generally through to, also you have credit cards and charge cards, and then they go to the suppliers. There are certain things in your calendar that you have to do which are going to be paying that money. So it might be that there are taxes, it might be that you've got like a credit card that needs paying, it might be that you've got an Amex charge card that needs paying, or even supplier credit needs to be paying on certain dates. And understanding when these dates need to happen, or these payments need to happen, are going to be super important to ensuring that out of all the money you've got and all the available credit you've got, that you're retaining enough of that cash to make sure you can meet your obligations, to manage your debts, and obviously your people who are giving you credit. Make sure we're mapping what money has to go where and at what time, and ensure that we've got enough money to pay that. So it's kind of like forecasting our bills. if we put it all together, we have all our money. When we're doing our cash flow, we are looking at where is all our money, and not so much money, but where is all our available credit, our available money, and this includes credit cards. What do we need to take out of that available money to pay our bills, to pay our suppliers, our creditors? How much have we got left, and get that back? And then finally, it's about investing that into stock. So now let's go through this and actually look at how I do this. The one thing which I'm just going to say, and I've got to be really honest about this, is that while I use this in my business, obviously I have an understanding of my business and the accounts. This sheet is a guide. You can't use it completely blindly, and you can't just say, oh yeah, the sheet told me, that's it. You need to start thinking about what's going on in your business. So unfortunately, we have to do a disclaimer to say this isn't legal and professional advice. Just make sure that you are seeking proper professional advice on your accounting. If you are questioning about your cash flow, unfortunately, I cannot be held responsible for any losses. So learn your business. We've got links up here like YouTube, watch the video, the one I'm recording now, and then also visit FastTrackFBA if you want to. So what I'm going to do is just jump down, and I'll come back up to bits at the end. So remember what we talked about in our business. We've generally got money, or should we say 4 core areas we need to look at. Number 1 is about, first of all, collecting where all our money is, so understanding where all that money is. Now I colour coded it red here on the video, and quite simply, on the sheet itself, it's red. So let's have a look here. Step 1, where is all your money? Record this, cash out Amazon every single Monday. Now for me in my business, I just cash out, disperse Amazon on a Monday. I like to set out everything on a Monday, and the rest of the week I can crack on. So what do? Well, I record my accounts here, so like Santander, TransferWise, PayPal. I'm putting in the available cash, but not only the available cash, but also the overdraft. I've got one that I'm using, and that's really important. I also put in here my credit cards, so like what credit cards I've got and the limits. It's really important to record the limits because that's available funds to spend. And then what's my current debt on those credit cards. We have charge cards, and charge cards are slightly different. If you don't know, they don't have a limit, but they still need to be paid off, but they have a much shorter time frame on them. So again, we've got charge card debits, and then also as well, supplier credit accounts and what we've got there. So then finally up the top here, we've got Amazon, accounts. Now on this sheet, quite simply, it has Amazon UK, so you can put in the Amazon UK amount. This is the total balance in your Amazon UK account when you look at it. So not how much is coming out right now, but actually what's the total balance. And you put that in, and then also as well, you can put in the European amounts if in the European marketplaces, and what we're going to do is we're going to convert that. And then finally down the bottom, we talk about the disbursement. So this is how much is actually being paid out once you hit that disbursed money. So obviously there's going to be a difference, and the sheet calculates this and forecasts that that money will come in the following week. Now, so quite simply, what are we doing? We are recording the status of all our money, all our credit, all our charge cards, everything on one section of the cash flow sheet. The next section, and we'll go back, is to, in the orange bit, is to understand what are our costs, what are our liabilities that are going to happen over the course of the next period that we're trading in. So we scroll down, and we've got here, what are the costs? Now, quite simply, the sheet is really nicely laid out. It's got expenditure this week, expenditures next week, and we even have a reminder of these monthly costs. Now, I'll just talk you through. So I'll come back to expenditures in a moment, but we'll just go through the reminders. So whenever you do like your monthly P&L, you're probably going to start looking through that, oh, you've got like a warehouse fee, we've got like an Amex charge or a certain bill. They hit your account pretty much on certain days of the month. For us, we can put that bill in here to remind us how much it is generally, and also what day of the month it is. And the sheet's just going to support you in understanding what days of the month the costs come in. Now you can kind of put all these different costs in there, and that's great. And then once you understand that, you can then come back over to the expenditures this week. What we also do is we have what's known as the cash flow planner just below that. That is where it automatically updates. It takes the day of the week, or this week we're in right now, creates the Monday as the start date, and then it will just show you what your expenditures are coming up on those days. So you can see quite simply, it will highlight in orange, something's coming up this week on the Monday or the Tuesday, for example, and then also something's coming up this week on the Thursday. So when we come back up to the expenditures this week, what I do is always I have a safety buffer. Now the reason is in my business there might be lots of little expenditures, and I do kind of allocate them in the moment. but also as well, I just want to have a bit more cash. You know, once you go over your balance or go below zero, that's a problem. So I'm always going to keep a certain safety buffer within my account. So I'm going to put £1,000 in my account every week as a safety buffer. And then also as well, I've got a little amount for little costs. So let's say, for example, in my business, I might have like, I don't know, repricing tool, calculator tool, all the little costs, not big ones, but little costs over the course of a month. I'll break them down to 4 and just have that in there as well. And then I'm going to have my other big costs. So it might be something like warehouse, maybe my Amex fee, maybe, you know, something else. A lot of payroll, for example, that's going to take in. But if we look over to next week, you can see here, I've just done next week, right here, I've got some little costs in there, and also I've got a bill called Test, which I'm putting in there, which is going to be £300. Now, quite simply, this just allows you to enter what costs you've got coming up now, this week, and also next week, to ensure you're managing your cash flow correctly. Now, if I go back to the diagram, quite simply, this is about collating how much actual money we've got left. So we know all our assets, we know how much money we've got and available credit we've got. We know what now is going to be outgoings over the course of the next week and 2 weeks. And now it's about saying how much have we got left, and once we account for all of that, we can then obviously invest in stock. So let's scroll down. Quite simply, calculate the maximum safe spend. 3 times I had that there. So quite simply, what is this sheet? Well, starting off right here, if I just talk you through, we talk about estimated funds. Now, this is how much does the sheet think that you have cash and credit available this week right now? What's the income going to be coming in from Amazon? And then what's your expenditure forecasted to be? So you had a net difference, i.e. what's your funds plus your income minus your expenditure. Now, the other thing to consider as well, and I don't know if it happens in the US, but in the UK, while I cash out on a Monday, I don't actually see that money in my bank account until Wednesday. So that could have a cash flow impact. We'll adjust for that in a moment. But what you can see down here is you've got this nice yellow box, and all of this sheet is about yellow boxes you can change. If it's not yellow, you don't touch it to make it work. So while it says maximum spend calculated is 12,759, this is where we like to have a manual input. Why? Because we could create an automatic figure that's going to do it for you. But you know what? It's like, I think you always need to have that manual input because cash is such an important part of your business. If you were to solely rely on a number created, it can get very dangerous. So by using a manual entry, i.e. you're setting the amount of cash, that's going to have such an impact. So right now you can see I put a value of £10,000, even though my maximum is 12,759, I put £10,000, it's going to be my maximum spend for this week. Now, it says just below me or below that, it says spend before Amazon disbursement arrives in the bank. For me, that's a Wednesday. So I'm allowed to spend £5,967 before Wednesday. But then after Wednesday, by the end of the week, I can then spend up to £10,000. So it's just helping me manage that cash flow between now and Wednesday and Wednesday and thereafter. Now, also as well, we've got down the bottom here is next week. So it's telling me how much funds, or how many funds do I think I'm going to have in my bank account at the beginning of next week. What's my income for next week based on the Amazon disbursement and what's left? What's my expenditures due to be next week? And then finally, what's the net difference? Now, if we scroll down even further into the last action, it's to say take action. So quite simply, we've got 2 beautiful boxes. One, the action I need to take. You pay off the credit cards, pay off these bills this week. You might put in there your credit card you've got to pay off. Or, and then the next box you're going to say is actually information to share. And for me, we share that quite simply with my purchasing manager, and they're going to know how much information they can spend. So you can see here, maximum spend for the week is £10,000, and do not spend more than this before Thursday, except on charge cards because it works differently, 5,967. So I can literally take a screenshot of that, or my VA does. She will then share that with my purchasing manager, and he knows exactly how much he can spend up to. And you know what? I'm going to really encourage him to spend up to that amount because, again, I want to get as much money out of the bank and into stock and sell to grow my business quicker. Now, if I kind of go through one kind of caveat, or not caveat, one area I want to look at is if you come back up to the blue section, and let's say, for example, right now, I was going to put the maximum amount in there, so let's do it. 12,759. what's going to happen? Where you're going to see one of the boxes down below go red. Well, why? It says make this as small as possible without it going red. If you were to put in the maximum amount there, 12,759, what is it saying? It's basically saying there's a problem. It's seeing that you've got, for us right now, it says available funds next week, 0. It's saying expenditure due before income, 0. And it says that potentially you might have expenditures next week which you will not have enough money to pay for because you've spent all the money. So it's saying hold some money back. So we use color coding just to make it a little bit easier for you for the sheet to forecast or to foresee areas whereby there are bills coming out you don't have that you need to pay, but you might not have enough money if you spend over the limit. So hence why if I even make it 11,000 now, then I'm still going to be £70, so I need to actually bring it down even more. So actually I can make it 10,900, and then I know that I should be safe to pay my bills and with my income and expenditure ready for next week. So hopefully that should show you how to do it. And again, what I'm going to do is drop a link down below that you can buy the sheet if you are interested. And obviously I use this every single day. It's taken years to develop it, and it just gives me that clarity, that confidence, and it's another system, another cog in my business, which just solves another problem. And you know what? This whole process takes me probably 20 minutes, half an hour a week, and I have the confidence to know that I've got enough money in my business to pay the bills and how much my purchasing money can spend. So have a look down below, you'll see a link to that. Hopefully you found it useful. If you have, give me a thumbs up. It just tells me that you like this content. And obviously drop a comment down below if you've got any feedback. Really appreciate that. What I will do is I will drop a couple of links around here to some videos that I've done on our top 100 supplier lists. That's going to help grow your Amazon business. So I'll drop the USA top 100 supplier list here, and then the UK top 100 supplier list here. And what I will say is you guys get out there, grow your cash flow, and grow your business. Thank you very much.